so that we can use it again. So the purpose of this call was to go through a bit about Easy Speak, specific things that area and division directors might have to use when they use Easy Speak. There are so many fantastic things that are possible, but I will touch on main highlights, and then towards the end of the meeting, I will open it up so that you can ask questions. So I will continue to my first screen if it will move. And it's not moving for me. Interesting. I haven't had that happen in a call before. There. Now it decided to move. So the first thing I was going to look at was some points for the division director. And I'll just highlight them all here, and then I will move over to the screen and go through all these for division director first. And please note that the area director things are almost the same, but we'll look specifically what the area directors can do on the next page. So the first thing we'll look at is that every division or the division director has a page, and we'd like to suggest that you post interesting information there, things that are relevant for the whole division and things that might be relevant for people outside the division, because that if somebody's traveling through your division, then they might want to attend one of your events, especially for division conferences, officer training, those kinds of things. There is a thing called a division mass email, so we'll look into that, and the mass email will send an email out to all your area directors, and as well you could send it out to club officers, and that's under my communication mass email. We'll show you that. We suggest that you use the division calendar to post the events in the calendar, and we'll look at how to create a meeting that would do that. And that's actually point 4, planning and setting up division meetings. There's also a section there where you can go directly to Toastmasters International and look at the statistics for our district and for your division. We'll take a brief look at the help, the discussion forum, and the videos. So now I want to escape that, and I'm going to go over to Easy Speak. So could you tell me if you see my Easy Speak screen? Somebody? Monica, could you tell me if you see it?
Yes, Monica sees it.
Great. Then I'm assuming that all the rest can see it as well. So the first thing to point out, I'm sure you all know it because you're logging in using it for your club already, but it's, you know, send the presentation. Yes, I can certainly send the presentation afterwards. So the first thing you to know is you can log in at tmclub.eu. And did somebody else pop in? Sorry. So audio, video, just seeing if I'm reading the latest message. Yes, send the presentation. Okay, closing the chat. So I'm going to log in with my user ID and my password because I had the main District 59. So for my sake, when I come in, then I have the latest club information that I looked at, which happens to be the Saturday breakfast speakers. At the left-hand side, I show area G2, G3, G4, because those are also areas that I do some work with. And then as well, I see Division G, the Nordic countries. Everybody can see where I'm pointing over at the left-hand side? Okay. So we talked about the division level first, so I'm going to go into Division G. And what pops up for me first is the division information. So there we have the lovely Svetlana, who's also on the call with us, and some of her helpers in the division. That's the easy part. Except what some people might have missed out is actually getting their picture uploaded here. Just check. Oh, we're pretty good with the first officers in the list, but there is some help text about loading up uh, your picture. And we suggest that everybody do that because it makes it a lot more personal to load it up. Down at the bottom for the area, for the division director, then I see all the areas that are involved in this division, Division G, and I see the area governors. No, I won't mention that there. Actually, here's one here. Vasily doesn't seem to have his phone number as the daytime phone number, but he does have it as the mobile. So sometimes it's great to put it in both places, right? And then down at the bottom, then I see all the clubs that are in this division. So as a regular user, then I can also click to go directly to one of the clubs if I have access to it. Right now, you may be seeing more things on my screen because I'm a support person and can support the division in a wider sense. So I might have more features than you are used to seeing or more clubs. But the one thing that we talked about going into now is how to send out a division mass mail. So here under my communication at the top, we have division mass email. So if I click on that, I get the screen, which has a number of features on it.
Elizabeth,
Yeah.
can I just interrupt? Just going back to the division home screen,
Yes.
because I just was checking on mine. I don't have any information up there. How do we add
So
information to that?
can you look at the division directory? And sorry, who is it that's speaking?
It's Ewan.
Ewan. So you see nothing for your division.
All I see is a map of the
Okay.
Toastmaster Club.
Then if you go along the menu bar at the top, could you please click on the division directory one and then second time division directory and see what you see there?
When I say division directory, I see the list of division officers and area directors.
Right. So that's where we were at the moment.
Yeah.
So you see them. They're there, right?
Yes, but just going back to where you were saying adding information about what's happening in the division.
Okay. So this is on the division directory one and then division home. That's where I went there. Now, so here for Division G, they talked about the various contests. The winners were placed here from the Division G fall contest. Are you
So at the moment, the text box Division News.
sorry, the line went a bit fuzzy. Could you say that again?
Right in Division News.
Okay, the line was still fuzzy for me, but you said something about right in Division News. So if you see where
Yes.
I'm pointing now, there is something called New Message. And I can click on that and create the new message in some sort of format that I wanted. No, sorry, that wasn't the right. That was telling me who wrote a message last time.
To write anything at the moment.
You were not able to write anything? Here, no, now I got it up. So here's, I have a topic, then I can edit and put some text in this big box, and then I can submit it at the left-hand side, right-hand side.
Yeah. Your screen has frozen though. We can't see what you just did.
Okay, let me try going back to see what happened. It looks like on my computer I am not getting a good connection. So at the moment I have gone back to the division directory. Are you able to see the division directory again? And then I will go to still frozen?
No. Still frozen.
No. Still frozen.
Still frozen. Okay, what do I
Yes.
need to do here? Sound check, go to meeting, exit. I don't know whether I need to exit or just keep moving or something. Ooh, my whole network decided to drop here. Is the screen back for anybody?
No.
No.
It's still the same screen.
Boy, and here it dropped out on me and everything.
Oh, some change.
Yep, we can see you moving your mouse again now.
Okay. So can you see that the screen says Division News here in the middle?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm going to try shrinking the controls again, and I see a few other people have arrived. Fantastic, Durash. So for anybody who's joining just on a device, I'm not sure if you can see all the screens, but maybe you can listen in and follow on your own computer to see where we're going. So I have gone to the menu bar, I've selected Division Directory, and then I'm going to select Division Home, because at the Division Home is where I can write in any messages that should go out to the whole division. So Division G has put in the winners of the Division G Fall Conference, so that's a great thing to put there. Or you could add further information about club officer training that's coming up second term, or any other awards that were happening in the division, or how about new clubs chartered. That kind of thing could be added here on the division page. And great that she's added here, thanks to other people, because that's real recognition for your users. And here, for instance, she's written in the date of the spring conference in Copenhagen. Fantastic. Okay, and there is some old news down at the bottom. So really suggest that you keep this page updated as best you can. Any questions there before I move on? Okay, then I will go on to the next thing, which was to send out a mass email for the division. So I'm going under the menu bar, My Communication, and then if I hover over that, I get a drop down and I see Division Mass Email. And you can tell me if you can see the new screen with the mass email page. Monica, are you able to see that?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So there's a lot that actually can happen on this page. The first thing to look at is who are the recipients for your message, and you are able to send it out to past division directors, assistant division directors, area directors, and even the club officers. You are only able to send to the officer level. You are not able to send to individual members in a club. There is such a thing as gavel clubs, and gavel clubs are clubs for young people, or sometimes if a club is set up at a prison, it's called a gavel club. I don't believe we have any in Europe, actually. Prospective clubs, you might want to include in the information, or you might want to only send it to prospective clubs. So there's the bullets there to either send it to them, yes, or only send it to the prospective clubs. And okay, so Diraj is writing that there's a gavel club in area 2 coming along. Well, I'll take the chance to say it now, where when I was district governor, I got the advice that build real clubs. So, because gavel clubs will take your energy and they don't give you any points. The only kind of points you might give is some satisfaction for building that kind of club, but you don't get points in the Toastmasters points arena. But there's always some goodwill to happen there. Okay, then I'm moving down and I come to the bottom where it's the division mass email. In this case, as I'm on this screen, I can say the reply is to me, but also Tvira is shown there because she has the club admin setting. I think if you do this, you will see your email there instead of where mine is. Or you can send the email with your username, which maybe you have one that's division governor of whatever division you're in. Be sure to put a subject in, and then down at the bottom is where you would have your message come in. So this might be where you want to remind your area directors to remind the clubs to submit their dues on time, or some other event that's happening. Officer training might be the thing. And then you'd press the email button there. Down at the bottom is also for the chance for you to make labels, and this would be worthwhile for related to conferences where you, so you have lots of options there. That takes a little bit of playing with to get good labels. You have to, but it does say here use an Avery label, L760 or the equivalent. Takes a bit of playing to get it good, but it's an easy way to have labels or name tags available. So any questions about this page for sending out a mass email?
No,
okay, great. Then I will go on to setting up a meeting. It was pointed out to me by a couple of people who asked me to lead this seminar that some division or area directors were unsure how to create a meeting or an event. So what I'm going to show you is at the division level now, and I will repeat it again at the area level. So on the meetings option on the menu bar, so that's the second one in meetings, if you hover over it, you'll see that there are a number of things on the drop-down list. The first thing is you can look at the calendar, and in this case, I would look at November. So then I can basically see all of the clubs in my division and probably some others. If I change at the very bottom of the calendar, I can change to make it wider. I can decide that I only want it Division G, or I can say I want all events. So then I would see all of Europe. Actually, I don't want to do that for now. I just want to see Division G in this case. So there I see the calendar, and that might be something I want to go and visit one of the clubs. So then I can see when they're having their meeting. Also on this list is something called the meeting list. And this would give me some old information. So Division G isn't using this feature. I did see it for some of the other divisions where you can see all the events in a wider sphere. I will drop down to the bottom now, which is the one I wanted to talk about, which is create meeting. So this will let you form a meeting for your division, and you have a number of options here. Just under the subject line, and I suggest you make it more specific than Nordic countries. You want to make it specific to say what you're actually going to be doing in the meeting, like Christmas party or officer training or something like that. And just under that, you have the event type. So there is a Toastmaster meeting, and that could be used when you want to have a contest. It has a broader sense than just a Toastmaster meeting. You could consider Toastmaster meeting to be any time you want to schedule people and they would get credit for speeches, evaluations, anything like that. That is a Toastmaster meeting. A committee meeting. Okay, so I'm reading Viola's comment, which disappeared right away. Viola says 2 different logins to Easy Speak, but get no access to this program. Never. Okay, so Viola, if you could unmute and tell me, were you an area governor or division governor? Or
I'm an area governor.
Okay, so
and I get access. Yeah.
Okay, at the moment I'm looking at the division level. So when we come to the area level, we can look and see if you get it there. But as well, you should not have two different logins to EasySpeak because I don't know why you might have two different ones. And maybe somebody.
So the first one I got, it doesn't work to come in this program. Then I ordered a second one, and it doesn't also not work. So I'm really yeah, I'm not so satisfied about this program because it always jumps to username and password, log it in, and it's spring again to username and password. So I never could in during the last 3 months. So that's why the reason I don't use EasySpeak.
Okay, so Viola, towards the end of the call, maybe we can go into, I look at your screen for a minute and we see what's happening, but what I suspect is that you are not, whatever user ID you have is not connected to you being an area governor. So
okay.
Let's look at it towards the end of the program.
Okay.
Good. So this was the Division G meeting, also similar for area, but I'll come to area in a minute. So we had the Toastmaster meeting, which is anytime you want to schedule a meeting where you want to schedule speakers, evaluators, and so on, or contest. A committee meeting is the committee who you have in your division as assistant area directors and so on. That if you want to have it set up a meeting to meet with them only, that's your committee. Other event might be something like a Christmas party if you're not going to schedule any speakers or something like that, but you want to put an event in. And officer training is, of course, when you want to organize officer training events to go out to a wider group. The council meeting is where you were having a area or division council where at the division level, it's your area governors who are your council. At the area level, it's your president and vice president of education who are part of your council. And then here, I'm going quickly down. You have the start date when the event is. You have the starting time. I think that's straightforward. You have the hour and the minutes to put in. The venue. Now, this is something, if you're going to have a different meeting location than you had at the time before, you will have to go into the club control panel to set up a new location. So I'm going to come back to the club control panel towards the end of the division setting. Is that okay?
I have a question, if I may ask.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so for the event types, is it expected as area director to have council and officer training possibility? Because I don't think I have these features enabled at the moment.
Okay, so let's also put that question on hold for a minute to see what is in your profile. And sorry, was that Matus that was speaking?
It's Alex.
Alex, okay. And you are an area director?
That's correct.
Okay, so let's look at your profile after to see what's in your particular profile. Select the agenda. If you do not put in an agenda right away, then you can't schedule any speeches or anything like that. So I suggest that you always put in some sort of agenda. And again, if one of these agendas that you select isn't a good one, then you need to create a new agenda that will be suitable for the event that you're going to have. Okay, and also to select the meeting manager, which is most likely you to begin with until you get, say, a contest chair or something else that can be put as the meeting manager. And then you want to write any more of the text, maybe the rest of the invitation about what's going to happen in the event. And down at the bottom, you submit it to get it actually created. I'm not going to do that now. So any more questions about setting up an event and saving it? Fantastic. Then I will move on, unless somebody had a harder time to unmute their phone and couldn't get in, but you can always send a chat message. So that was setting up a division meeting by going to the Create Meeting button. The next feature that you might find fairly useful is the Go To item in the menu, and the Go To has lots of possibilities here. So the one I wanted to point out is the district statistics or Toastmasters information. So I will click on the one district statistics, and this will take you out to, no it doesn't take you where, so this is what happened in the district as a whole, but where I really wanted to go was the TI information, which is other statistics. And that didn't take me to where I thought it was going to either. Wait a second here. So let's look at, then I have to click on one of these. It's right, it's a clickable link. So then I will go to the district performance and what's happening for District 95. Have all of you been into Toastmasters and seen this sort of district performance screen? Or maybe I'll put it the other way around. Is there anybody who has not seen this in the past? So while I'm here, I'll take the chance to point out the box here, paid clubs. If you can see our base 231, that's what we started the year with, but we have clubs, only 212 clubs have submitted their dues. So I would suggest as area governors or division governors that you take the chance to look at the list of your clubs who have not paid in and get them paid up. You will need to have each club pay a minimum of 8 members to get this credit as being a paid club. Okay, I am going to leave the district performance. I just wanted to show you that's what on the Go To, the TI information, that's where you would get. Same sort of thing if you wanted to do a club search. Why don't I press that? And if you put in the club name, then you could see some information about the club. Let's see what happens here. So, there's 3 clubs in our district called Speechmasters, but the one I really wanted was the bottom one, which happens to be Speechmasters in Gothenburg. The next thing to point out at the division level, and again actually at all levels, is the help options. There is so much help available here. Please use it. So one of the things to look at first is the knowledge map. So it is a lot of stuff here, more than just about Toastmasters, but more than just about Easy Speak, but about Toastmasters generally. So please also point this out to your regular members to come in and look at the knowledge base. Also under the help is some search functions, and the other one is the discussion forum. And if I get it. So this discussion forum is a very useful place if you want to upload some documents that all the people in your division need to look at. Here is where you could upload documents, because in the regular emails you sent out, you don't have anything to attach additional information, but here you can do it. I'm not quite sure what this one has, but let's have.
Just a comment. I have a question here.
I have 2 people on. Give me one at a time. Go ahead.
Okay, then I'll start. If I would like to add an attachment, you said we should do that through the discussion forum, but we have also a discussion forum within our areas and within our divisions. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, which one should we use? Should we use a general, or should we use that one for our division?
I think it depends who you want the message to go to. And remember, you also, okay, so this would be the place if you wanted to upload a document, like say you had to send out information for some upcoming election or something, or it's a little bit like what the district does when they send out information for the executive committee meetings or the, what's it called? The deck. So DECM, they upload documents here. But just think through who is your audience. Should this,
for example, a flyer, invitation flyer for my division conference.
Then just do it at the division level. Although if other people come in here, then they can see, yeah, but that applies to another division.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And the second person who had a question?
Is Ewan here. I had some troubles. I guess maybe because I'm a new division. I had troubles uploading, or not uploading, sharing the information, and I was in contact with Malcolm on the Easy Speak support help desk, and the settings were not set up correctly. So sometimes I wanted to share information to all the club officers and clubs in the division, but it was set up initially for only area directors could view the information. Okay. So that's just a point of note for everybody, just to check.
Yes.
And you might have some problems sending out the information and not have something, so you might have to resolve that.
So primarily the division governor does go to the area governors, and then the area governors go to the clubs. So if you think of that flow of information, then you might think where it is. But yes, I have also heard that the newer divisions are set up slightly different, so you might have to check some of the settings. Okay. I wanted to go back to when we had to create the meeting, then we didn't have the location where we wanted to have the meeting. So what I was going to go now, or I did the drop down here and I looked at the list of the places, and no, there isn't a place where this meeting should happen. So I want to set up a new meeting place. And that is done in the club control panel. Some of you will have access to the club control panel, some of you won't. So I'm going to show you, because I have access, what you might do here. So if I go to the bottom of basically any screen, I should see a little tiny text just above the CT tracker symbol. So on the club control panel, I have to log in again. And then I'm looking at mostly the left-hand side to see what is happening here. So in this case, I wanted to set up a new location. So I click on the one at the left called the Locations Edit. And here are the locations set up for Division G. And down at the bottom, I have a new Add button to add a new location. So one of the things, if you are not able to get into this club control panel, then we might have to look at your authorizations to get into the club control panel. Primarily the people who have access to it are division governors, or not governors, directors, area directors, and the IT support people in your division. All the other assistants that you have usually do not have access to this location, the club control panel. Okay, we'll take any other questions related to divisions. Great. Then I will go down and I will go to an area. In my case, I'm going to go to area G4. And again, I see who are the officers in G4, and who are the clubs in G4. So if I go to the area home, then I get the map, which probably means that this area director has not added any text to his page. Let me see if I get it anywhere else. Area officers. Nope, I don't think he's added any text. Let me just out of curiosity go to another area and see if I see anything else. not this one either. So we get the Google map. So it might be something for the area governors to try to add some text. It could certainly should be something about when their area conferences are going to be for the spring, and certainly about division conferences, district conferences, and officer training. The next thing to look at is same thing as...
Elizabeth, sorry to interrupt again. Just going back to my earlier question about the home page for my area, for my division, I get exactly the same page as you show here, where I just see that District 95 message in the Google Maps.
Okay,
I don't have the option for the edit.
Okay, so
I don't have the option for the edit page layout.
You don't have that. Okay, then we will have to check what your authorizations are. So I can, towards the end of the call, we could take a look at you to see what you have. And then maybe we have to add more authorization for you to be able to edit.
Okay.
Okay. The same thing here with the area mass email. Under My Communication, there is the area mass email. Similar thing here, decide who you want your message to go out to. Click in those. So say you only wanted it to go to the presidents, then just click in on the presidents. And then similar thing, the gavel clubs, perspective clubs, and so on. And down at the bottom where you actually write in what you want in the email. And then send the email off with the email button at the bottom. Any questions from the area governors about sending emails? I would like to suggest that whenever you send an email to the officers, that you also remind them to send the relevant information to the rest of the club. Because sometimes that doesn't happen. They don't realize that the club members might be interested in an area conference or something like that. So sometimes they need a reminder to do that. Did I hear somebody clicking in that they would like to say something? No. Again, here on the messages, the area director can only send to the officers of the club, not to individual members in the club. Similar thing with the meetings is if you go to the meetings in the menu bar, then you can see your calendar, November, December, whatever. Let's look at what's happening in November in this area. Again, at the bottom of the calendar, I have that I only wanted to see area G3 and the neighboring clubs in November. And again, I can click on it and see if I want to see further. In this case, our area G3, G4, and G5 are all in the Gothenburg areas. So that's why if I put the neighboring clubs, then I will also see ones close by. And when I wanted to create an area event, I'm back on the meetings button and I go down to the bottom, create meeting. Same thing here, decide what your subject should be, whether it's just a G3 or whether it's a wider event. Same buttons, same event types. Put the date in, put the time in. Same thing here, if the list of available places that you might want to have the meeting is not there, add a new one in the club control panel. Also select an agenda and or revise the agenda if you don't find the one you want. And then put the meeting text about what's going to happen at the meeting and press the submit button at the bottom. And then it will be in the calendar. Any questions about that event, creating an event? Okay, then I will...
Elizabeth, when I created such a...
Sorry,
Sorry, can you hear me?
I couldn't at first. Say again.
Okay, my name is Miria from Frankfurt, and my question would be, is I saw for the area contest, I used a template. Do we have templates here as well?
Yes, that's under the button Select Agenda. Those really mean templates. So for instance, I have one here, humorous and table topic competition, if you see my screen. The templates usually are there because somebody set them up earlier. So if you don't have it from earlier, then you will need to create a template, or pick something that's there and then revise it and then resave it as a template with a new name.
Okay, thank you.
Can you share how to create a template, please?
Well, that is actually a good question. I haven't done it at the area level because it's been a long time since I've been an area governor, but let's just see if I pick the fall conference one to begin with and have me, and which date did I put in for this? December the 2nd, so I remember where it is. I'm submitting it. And then I'm going to view the event. And here I have the event, if that's come up on your screens. So I have this, who I wanted to invite, and I have the roles over here. Up here at the top left, I have edit or delete the meeting, which allows me to, takes me basically back to where I was, the current agenda. Or I also have the red pen and the agenda button where I can change the agenda items. So let's have a look at that. So here is this new agenda that I want, and in this particular case, let's say I don't want a keynote speaker, so I'm going to delete that. You sure you want to delete it? Yes. And then if I go down to the bottom of this agenda, I can say that I want to use this agenda to create a new template. And I will give it a name, test 3, and I will push the button New Template. So if I then went back in and created another event where I wanted the test 3 template, then that would appear on that drop-down list of all the possible templates for an area event. Were you able to follow that, Ian? Ewan?
Yes, that's similar to in a club, but I don't have the button to edit agendas in my.
Okay, so we'll have to see what your authority is.
Yeah.
Definitely there. Yeah. Okay. Oof, that was a long one. Oof. I'm just going to return to the agenda now. So this is very similar to what you might have in a club if some of you have been a club officer before. But now you see many of the people in the area. But one of the things about this is you don't see all of the people in your area. And that is done on purpose by the system, because if all of the people happen to come up at the area level, then it would take a long time to load it. So the people that come up are people that have attended in the past and or the officers. Not necessarily all of them all the time either. But these are people who might have attended at a previous area event. But say you know that you want somebody who's not an area, who's not a club officer, and they're going to be the contest master. So you would go up to the Add User button up at the top, right-hand side, Add User, and you'd probably want to connect them to G3 with a status of member. Hopefully they are a member from somewhere else, but if you're having a guest speaker and you were adding a user, maybe they aren't a Toastmaster, so you might add them as a mailing list. You're saying, when are they associated with the club? Well, I'm going to put it that somebody came in the 1st of October. I'm not going to care about introduce the club by, but what I want to do is I want to search for somebody here. So I want to search for, who do I know that's not here? I want to search for Christina Van Otter. Let's see if anything will come up that way. And there is Christina Van Otter. She pops up, and then I could add her to the list. Create new user at the area level. I'm not going to do that now. But could everybody see that, how you do it? Add user is the important part, to add additional people who you know are going to be coming to the area event. Okay. I am going to delete this event so our area governor will not have a problem with it. And down at the bottom
Elizabeth,
here,
I have a question here.
yes. Sorry, you disappeared. I can,
Elizabeth?
yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. So that means if you want to have a list of attendees, you have to know ahead of time who is coming. Is that correct?
Yes, would be the answer.
Okay.
You sort of somehow your area governor, yeah, or your club officers have to let you know, oh, well, Mary wants to come, but she's not on the list. And
I
then
see. Yeah.
you or the club officer, I believe, are able to add additional people to come to this event.
Okay. Thank you.
And I'm going to delete this meeting so that the area governor in this area won't kill me. Here on the calendar, right now I'm looking at October, and I'm sure you have seen it already, but I have the yellow arrows at the top of the calendar to go jump back in the previous year or jump back a month, or the same thing, jump forward a month or several months forward, view next year. So if I go forward 1 month, I will, for instance, see November, and there I will see the fall conference listed, and I will see the DECM listed. So that's, you guys can click on there to find out what's happening. Oops, not sure why I'm getting that. But there I see the information about the DECM event. Oh, are we doing GoToMeeting? Wow. Okay, for those of you who can't attend in person, there's a GoToMeeting. Fantastic.
No, it was rescheduled because of the arrival of the president to the Prague.
Okay. But here they have the listing of the GoToMeeting, so that's also happening. Okay, I'll leave that one. Also, to remind you, as at the area level, you also have the Toastmasters information going out to Toastmasters International, same place we went before. For instance, distinguished district information. And there, that's also a really good way for you to click through to see it, because then up at the top you can see, well, you can click down to see what's happening in your area or at a particular club. So at the moment I'm at the District 95 level, and it says district performance, but if I click on the gray bar in the middle, then I can see the division and area performance. So see if something will open here. So in this particular division that I'm in, or I'm looking at all the divisions actually. I'm looking at Division A. I can see what the base of clubs is, how many clubs have paid. So they're Division A, wake up, get another club in there. And all the statistics for the clubs underneath by area and then down to the club level. So this is something that you should be checking fairly often to see what's happening in your area or division. While I'm here, I want to point out a couple more things. So this is at the Toastmaster level, even though this wasn't part of the thing, but I think area governors often don't know about the additional and daily reports. So I'm on this screen, I'm going over to the left-hand side where I see daily reports and additional reports. We're just going to do a quick visit there. So on the daily reports, here are things that you could find useful. One of the things now would be the October dues renewal status, where you can see which of your clubs has not paid the dues renewal. Very good thing to come in and check here. Now, the titles at the top of the lists are clickable, which means it sorts in that way. So if I click on division there, then I will get it sorted according to division. So there I have Division L coming first. So for instance, I can roll down to I find my Division G, and I find Mormolen Toastmasters haven't paid, and Friedensborg's Toastmaster haven't paid, and Karlstad hasn't paid. So that's a quick check for your area or your division about what's happening with the payments. Okay. Then to change and look at other reports, I'm going to the right-hand side where there's a drop-down list where I can look at other things. An interesting one is always the educational achievements. Similar thing here too, what's happening in your division, who's achieved an award, because this is a chance for you to congratulate the people in your division who have reached especially significant awards. Like DTMs should, give them lots of recognition, but any of the other awards, why not give them some recognition? And there's one more report I was thinking about. Oh, Triple Crown Awards is great. The Triple Crown is when somebody achieves 3 or more awards within the year. So look at here, Roxandra has achieved 3 awards. Somebody's name who I would not pronounce at the top of the list has already achieved 4 awards. So give them recognition. Congratulate them on what they've done. You also want to look at the new clubs.
Elizabeth?
Yes. Yes?
Just for your information, with the Triple Crowns, we have a different policy of recognizing Triple Crowns than in our district than on the Toastmasters International webpage.
How could it be?
Oh, that's quite simple. They said, for example, if you do the High Performance Leadership Project, that would be part of another award, the ALS, and the DTM isn't counted as an extra award because that's just happening.
Okay.
That was what that was the information that I've received from the district director and also the former district director.
Okay. I didn't think we were, well, we can give extra recognition that way, so why not? Yeah. But especially, you should be congratulating anybody who's achieved the DTM anyway, whether it's
Right.
part of a Triple Crown or recognize it. Yeah. So here were the new clubs that are chartered. You could always, if somebody's coming along up to a new club, come in here and check the new clubs, and as well the prospective clubs. And I think the prospective club list is always interesting to see, for instance, what has happened for, here's a whole bunch of papers that were sent in a while ago, but payment was missing and, a few other things missing. So what happened in these clubs that it didn't go to fruition, that it didn't actually become a club? So check the ones again for your area or division. And here's also where you see when they started to send information into TMI, then here's where you can check what's happening or what's missing in the whole thing. Okay, then I will, yes, there still is one more. Sorry guys, I got to tell you a little bit more here. The new club sponsors and mentors. Here is something that we are constantly forgetting to do something about. If you look at this list, the sponsors, okay, the ones at the top, that's fairly new, but if I look down a little bit, here is something from the start of 2015 where the club was chartered, but this person, no, sorry, these two have been awarded. Damn. But here's somebody that's pending. So they needed a reminder 6 months after, because a mentor is 6 months after the club is chartered, that they should send in the letter that TMI has sent that you were a club mentor, send in the papers. You need to do a little bit of calculation to find out what 6 months after is. And while I'm here, getting on a soapbox for a minute, in this particular case, here's Andrej, who was a sponsor and a mentor. I really wish that kind of thing wouldn't happen, because what it is saying is that there were no other people around who were willing to help out this club get chartered. It is my opinion that there are enough people in our clubs who could help out, so that one person should be a sponsor and another person should be a mentor. So I hope you'll take that message back to any clubs that are getting chartered. And now I'll step off my soapbox and go back to Easy Speak. Unless there's any questions about the Toastmasters reports. Good. Then,
One question about mentors. Was it one question about mentors?
yes?
Do they receive, which mentors receive credentials when the club gets some DCPs?
No,
Somebody told
nothing
me,
to
and
do.
I'm not sure I saw it somewhere.
I think that, to me, that sounds like we're maybe mixing two concepts. So let me take them one first and see if I understood. So the one that I showed you there was the people who are listed on the application to charter as sponsors and mentors. And the sponsor can get credit as soon as the club is chartered if he gets the form signed by the club president, and the mentor can get it signed 6 months after the club is going. And those don't have anything to do with the DCP.
Okay. Because I don't remember who asked me, and I was not sure that it has any connections, but I remember writing this in my agenda, and I thought, okay.
So those roles will contribute towards your advanced leader silver. That's correct.
That's correct. You need to charter or to sponsor or mentor a club to get the credit towards your advanced leader silver. Okay. Where the
here a question: if say a club's been laboring for a very long time to move from prospective to chartered, and maybe then the original mentor or the original sponsor is not involved anymore. Can you then rename a new sponsor or a new helper?
I believe you can do that with the help of your district director or the what's his name, club growth director. I believe it can happen, but you'd have to check with them. I know I had a similar situation, but I'm not sure how we solved it last time. But it is true, when clubs take a long time to charter, then usually need some new blood, and so maybe there's a new sponsor or mentor come in. Okay, if I can, and I see that I skipped over from my PowerPoint slide, but I did have a couple of points related to the club level. If because there are some things that an area or division governor should do for a club. So I am going to go into Division G, and I'm going to go to one of my clubs and show you a few things that are happening there. Let me go to Saturday breakfast for one. So I see the information about the Saturday breakfast club, and actually I want to go to the club. I am on the club directory, club officers, club home. No, so there was my information, club officers. So this was not a good club to show you, so let me just pick another club, which was West Coast Masters, for making the point that I want to show you. And that, again, on this club directory, That was where I wanted to be. So here is a red sign warning. This club cannot be contacted easily by members of the public. And it gives you why it can't be contacted. And if you look down in this list, you'll see there are some phone numbers here, but not very many from the club officers. So I would like to suggest that your area governors please have a look through all their clubs and see if the club officers have the phone numbers made public. So maybe you don't know about this made public. So I will look at Hannah here, or Constance, or one of these. And I can do this because I have the authorization, but instead you should look at your own to be sure that you have it made public. I'll look at Malin here. So when I look at Malin's profile, sorry, went into the wrong place. I want to, that wasn't where I wanted to go. So there's still some things here. I will go back. No, sorry, I'm not getting where I want to get. I want to go to a user list. That's where I want to be. And let me look at, I'm going to edit this user. And in the user profile, I get to see this because I have a lot of authorization, but your club officers will have this, or at least some of them will. Then you want to go to the tab Club, because this tells you, nope, sorry, that tells you that they're an officer. I want to go to the tab Personal. And this tells you that Annika's name will only be seen to club members. If she had a phone number in there, it would only be available to members, and the mobile phone would only show to members. And that is why your officers will not show up on that officer list. So I'd like to suggest that you talk to your officers to get them to show their phone number if they're willing. Say the mobile phone, maybe not their home phone number, because then that means members of the public could reach them. I'd also like to suggest that you encourage your club officers.
If I may.
Yes. Go ahead.
No, I had last year as an area governor at that time discussions with some clubs, and some would insist that they can be reached by email and they will not have the name or the telephone, and that's the personal right. So I could not do anything. So it's up to a discussion, maybe individual discussion, and convincing others why they need to be available. Just a small comment.
Yeah. Do they want new members for their club? Could wonder. Because not everybody
have personal issues for why the person cannot be. There are some officials which are helping the club. Yeah.
Okay.
So that is very individual, but it's worth trying.
Yeah. So maybe at least there's some phone number available there. I find for 2 of the clubs I belong to, my phone number is available, and I get lots of calls about people wanting to visit because they want to find out what is Toastmasters really all about, and where are you really meeting, and what time are you starting, and that kind of thing. So I think it's really worthwhile to have a phone number. At least I'm willing to have my phone number show. So the other thing we said was have your members, or at least your officers, show their pictures. So let's just see what my club directory. Let's just see if we have any pictures here. So, oops, my picture isn't there. Wonder why, it's in other places. So I'll have to add it to my club here. So, suggestion there. The other thing at both the club area, the club level, the area level, and the division level, we talked about the PR, where we mentioned the homepage and having it available. So I'm going to the home button and our blog. And here's something we suggest you write in some information related to your club or area or something here. And I have to admit, for this club, we're not doing, it's a little bit old. We should have updated more information here. So get your PR officer on board and updating the blog at the club level, the area level, division level. If your area or division needs a website for a Toastmaster page, then District 95 does have a portal page and a website, so you can talk to the district director in some way, or the what's the other name, marketing director, to find out how to create the web page for your club. It's all what's the word I want? It's all sponsored by the district, so take advantage of it to create a web page. Back to...
Can you give us an example of a link? Sorry, Elizabeth, it's Alex here. Can you give us an example of a club who already had a web page sponsored by the district, like one link, if you can provide?
No, I don't know out at that level because I haven't gone searching for it, but if you would ask Bia, she would probably give you that information because she's looking at what's happening with club area division web pages, or she should be looking at that because that's part of marketing. I know in Division G that we have, at least in Sweden, we have a web page where it was set up before the district ever had web pages. So we have our own, what's the word I want? Site, I guess is the word, in Division G. And that's covered by a Division G budget. Let's see, portal. I'm going to go to I'm sort of go back to the area level, which still sort of relates to the club level here. At the area level here, we saw all the clubs available here, but what we also see is 3 clubs that have a P behind their name: Albury, Esbury, and Odense. So a club is allowed to come into Easy Speak when they have submitted their papers called application to organize. And with the application to organize, you also pay in the fee of the $125. And then Toastmasters assigns you the club number. And when that happens, then you are allowed to set that club up in Easy Speak. So maybe the club has met a little bit in advance before they're ready, before they're ready to send in the application to organize. When they do that, you'll have to keep them organized in Excel or something like that. So I have a personal example of that where we had about 4 meetings of a club before we sent in the application to organize till we were sure that we had enough members. But what we did is we kept in the Excel sheet of each of the speeches and everything that was done so that they could be loaded up and get credit after the club got to this provisional level. Any questions on that?
So when a club charters, how does that P disappear?
We ask
What do you have to do?
We ask the district support person to remove the P.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to stay on the provisional one for a minute because the other thing I want to point out is in the help options in the discussion forum. When you have this provisional club that you're aware of and oops, you guys still with me? Sorry about that. Can you hear me again?
Monica can hear you.
Okay. Sorry, the whole line dropped out for me. So, yeah. What I was starting to say was in Easy Speak, which I need to open again, was when oh, did you hear me talk about the provisional club, that you can get a provisional club number as soon as you send in the form application to organize? I think you heard that. And then
Yes, we did.
what I started to say was when you're going to set them up in Easy Speak, you have to provide some information to the people who are going to set up the club. And that is available under the menu bar help options and then discussion forum. And in the discussion forum is a forum page that talks about setting up new clubs and the information that you have to provide. Okay, so quite far down in the list, I see add clubs to tmclub.eu and other admin requests. So if you click on that information thing, you will find the forms that you need to fill out because you have to provide information.
I'm sorry, Elizabeth, there's nothing on the screen.
Sorry?
It's only the first introduction page. There is no PowerPoints, no your Easy Speak, nothing on my side. Yes.
It says waiting to view Elizabeth Nostedt screen.
Okay, so I did a share, but it's not showing.
You're back now. You're back now, Elizabeth.
Thank you. Okay.
Not on my screen.
No, I can't see anything yet.
Do a refresh. Or I will stop for a second and then come back in, see if that also helps. That's sort of like a refresh. So are you able to see the screen again?
Monica sees the
Yes.
screen again.
Yeah, now I see your screen.
Okay. Great, just go down to the bottom. Yes, fantastic. Okay, so where I was pointing out was under help options, discussion forum. And I'm now looking at the forum, if you see that, and a little bit, if I roll down in the forum, then further down here, use of the application, I find a thing called add club to tmclub.eu and other admin requests. So under this information here, you will find the forms that you will need to fill in to then submit it to the admin part to set up the club. So you have to provide such information as the club number, at least some of the club officers, at least some of the usernames of the people, because there's likely some crossover from another club maybe, if they're crossing over, or else just to use a name and the admin people will set up a username. But you need some officers to get the club going. But have a look in there later when you have the chance to see what the forms are so you know what you have to fill in. Oh yes, I know another one. And that is which template, which club would this new club be similar to? For instance, we had a new club starting in Swedish, so we used the forms of the other Swedish club because then that gave us all the role names in Swedish. But maybe you want it similar to another English club because they are going to have the same meeting format that you have in your current club, because they will copy role names, they will copy some agendas, so the club has a little bit easier getting started when it's a provisional club. But I suggest that either at another point in time, if you have provisional clubs that are getting started, that there should be a webinar or something. Maybe you guys are really familiar with EasySpeak and you can help them get started in EasySpeak, or look at some of the help options in these forums to see what to do. Okay, somebody is pinging me maybe. Nope. Okay, can you still hear me and see something?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you, but I see a club in area G2.
Okay, then I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint presentation anyway, so hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to roll forward. Nope, I covered all that. But the one thing I want to point out for both division directors, area directors, is the email that I have at the bottom of this screen, if you can see the PowerPoint now. And that is your support line for questions that you have. But please go look at the forum and the knowledge base first, because do a search in the discussion forum to see if the question that you have is maybe already answered somewhere. There are also some really great videos loaded up there, lots of how to do something kind of videos. So have a look there.
Elizabeth, one question. If I know officers from the clubs which have troubles with EasySpeak, the same as we had today, is it the same email that can be addressed to find out why it's not working?
Well, Svet, you could start with me. I could help you in Division G, because I can go in and look at all of Division G. I can look at the others, but I won't extend my services farther than that. And then that would be the email for all the rest.
Fine. Thank you, Elizabeth. And then I will send an email to you and Anna. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. I think that was about all that I wanted to cover. So if there is anybody that wants to hang on and ask the specific questions, maybe it was Ewan wanted to, and was it Viola that had, no, it was, sorry, I forgot the other person that had specific questions because their profile wasn't working. So if you want to stay on the line, then I can have a look at that. And unless there's any other general questions, I can answer.
Elizabeth, this is Matush. I would have one. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Is it possible somehow in EasySpeak to generate, let's say, more complex reports containing data regarding the members? For example, if I would be looking to create a list of members that have entered a certain club, let's say our club, in a certain period, for example, 3 months back, would that be possible?
Are you talking now in your role as area governor or in your role as a club officer?
In my role as a club officer.
Okay.
We are trying to generate such a list that I put as an example to track our sharing of manuals, let's say.
Ooh. Why are you sharing manuals?
Okay, well, usually since the manuals are shipped from headquarters from the US, it takes a relatively long time, sometimes over a month, to actually deliver them to the person who has recently joined. And as you can imagine, they are quite eager to speak, and they cannot proceed without the manuals. So what we do is we order some manuals in advance. Whenever a new member joins, we just give them the manuals, and then when they get their own manuals, they return them to the club.
Okay, then I could give a suggestion on that. In fact, I have two suggestions. One suggestion is there is a downloadable PDF of the icebreaker, and I know that's something we use for new members in the time that they're waiting for the manuals to arrive, because quite often in that month, for us it's more like 2 weeks, but in that month, they don't usually want to do more than one speech. So we use the downloadable PDF of the icebreaker. I can show you one other way that you might be able to track it, but not in the sense of getting a report. One of the things that we do for the members, if you are you able to see my screen now? Hello? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hello?
So, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? And can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So one of the ways that we keep track of a few sorts of things, like we do a new member orientation for our new members that join the club. So we want to keep track of who has attended the new member orientation. So what we do down here at the bottom of the list is we have a status that is new member. You're seeing the Swedish in this case, but we give them that status of new member, and this is a member status, until they have attended the new member orientation. So you maybe could have a status of, I don't know, manual or something that maybe could help you track it.
I see. So there's a possibility to create several statuses for members and give them different names
Yes,
to the statuses, I mean.
yes. And so that is done.
So we
So
can create
what is your role in your club?
member,
Sorry,
the sergeant at arms.
your sergeant at arms.
Logistic.
Okay, so the sergeant at arms has the smallest amount of authority in the system. So you as sergeant at arms probably couldn't do it, but it is done in the club control panel at the bottom. And again, I have to log in here. And
Will you be able to just show me so that once I share this information with the other officers on whose behalf I'm here, they can then do it, or whoever has the privileges in our club to do it?
yes, so I'm going into this particular club that I've been in, and I'm in the control panel at the bottom. And then I am going to the club officers. I'll just show you that first. The club officers here gives you the list of the officers and which order they're in. I'm also showing, for instance, we have assistant vice president education. I'm sorry this is in Swedish, but this is the club that has the best setup for it. So then I will go into the edit button here at the right side, and I will see which authorizations the role of president has. So for instance, you see here, access to club control panel, the president does not have it. But if I went to the vice president education, then they have access to the club control panel. So they would have to be the person to come into the club control panel to check about this status of the members. And so that is also at the left side, the member status. And so here are the ones that we have in this club. We have member, we have resting member, and we have new member. We have guests that participated, we have mailing list, we have old user, we have Toastmaster from another club. And even some don't send any information because they said, don't bother me ever. But they stay in the system because of their previous role. So here, it might work. I couldn't say for sure, but maybe you could set a status of has borrowed a manual.
I see. How do I create a new status that I can then assign to new members?
It's down at the bottom, create new status, add.
Ah, okay, now I can see it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
It might work, it might not. Okay, if I've answered your question,
Does the member have several clubs?
Say again?
Can a member have several statuses or just one?
Just one. So if I go in and look at my user list, in this case, I will look down, well, I'll pick myself for showing it. I'm going to edit myself. I see the first information about myself. If I go to the club, then I will see that I am a member. If I want to change to another status, I have to see what's on the drop-down list and change the status there. It is one status per member. But you have to come into this user list to change the status.
I see.
There
Thank you
might
very
be
much.
some other way. There might be some other way, but I can't think of it right now. That could be a question to ask that email address. Okay. Somebody might need this
I
line for a district meeting. Yeah. Ewan, I'm butchering your name. I'm sorry. Do you want to ask your question now?
Yeah, so I think I must be something in the control panel, but I don't know what. I've been looking. I don't seem to find a way to be able to let me edit the layout of like the home page. And
Yes. Okay. Could you tell me which? Are you an area governor? No, you were division governor. Is that right?
No, division director.
Division director. Sorry. Let's get that
Division
right.
director. Yeah, division L.
Yeah. And sorry, which division?
L.
L. Okay. And what is the proper pronunciation of your name so I don't butcher it again?
Ewan.
Ewan. Thank you.
Say you and me just through the first bit.
Great way. Great way. So if am I going to be able to see you? Well, let's take a look. What I actually would be able to do is look at your profile of what you have, and let me see. Let me see if what you have there. No. No, I don't know if I know the answer about how to check that. So
it must be in the control panel somewhere, but I have full access to everything.
You have access to the control panel? You can get in there? Okay, so let me go there, see if maybe you can tell me what you see or don't see. So what you wanted.
How do I share my screen?
All right.
Would that be a better way?
All right. So if I stop sharing, do you see the control panel that you can share?
Where should I be looking?
So in the options there, it should be the middle button that looks like a screen.
No, I don't think I have the option.
Okay, maybe that's only, maybe I have to give you attendees chat, stop recording. I know when I'm using another system, not this one, then I have to give permission to the other person to present. And I don't actually see that option here. So I'm not sure further what I would have to do.
Okay, but I can follow up on the knowledge network and post something if I can't find the way to fix it.
Yes, that would be a good way to do it. Did you have other questions?
No, that was my only question.
Okay. And is there anybody else on the line who still had a question? I think Viola had something, but she said she had to leave.
It's Alex here. Well, I have the same question as Ewan because before our area page could be edited, but I guess after some update we can edit it. I don't have any more access to add new information as well.
Would it have been around the 1st of July when it updated?
No, most probably September there was issue. I mean, because I could put information till August, and now I can't put any information.
Okay. I know there were some changes that were coming along there, but I do not know what all the changes were, so I could not say what happened. So that would be a good question to ask the support line. Yes, I will send out or post that PowerPoint presentation if you do not have the email address of the person. I can show it again so that you see it. If you're seeing the screen, then it's d95itmanager@gmail.com. But please check on the discussion forum to see if you see it. It's already been asked. Any further questions?
No, thank you for your time sharing this. It's been useful.
Thank you. I hope I added some new information to what you were looking for. Let's see, any other comments? Just some thank you. Had to run. Okay, yeah, I think just the others. Yeah, so I'll thank you all. I'll stop the recording.